ただいまより内閣府によるグローバルにおける地域スタートアップエコシステムの現状と課題と題したプレゼンテーションを開催いたします。なお、プレゼンテーションの字幕スーパーが右手前方のモニターに映し出されますのでご参照ください。The presentation by the Cabinet Office will now begin. The live translation will appear on the monitor to your front right. それではよろしくお願いいたします。
All right, let's get started. Thank you for coming. Everyone's good afternoon. Hi, hello. Thank you for coming. Okay, let's get started our session. This session is current status and challenges of regional startup ecosystem in the global context. So a lot of the great speakers on the stage. So first of all, we would like to introduce ourselves. So Lai-san, would you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hey everybody, good afternoon. My name is Cha-Ming Lai. I'm managing partner of a local VC here called First Light Capital. Our fund mainly invests in early stage startup here in Japan. For those kind of startup try to solving the social issue here in Japan, such as like labor shortage and also aging society. In terms of like technology thesis that we're focusing on, mainly in AI, automation, and SaaS. It's very nice meeting you all here, and hopefully we're going to have a good discussion here. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the next is Fukuda-san.
Hello everyone, my name is Shiori Fukuda and I'm working for Kobe City Local Government and being in charge of supporting startups, specifically focusing on overseas expansion and attracting overseas startups. And regarding my personal background, I started my career at a think tank providing consulting and project management for public sector. So I used to work with the cabinet office and other ministries. And then I chose to move to New York's based D2C startup where I worked as a product management manager. And I worked at the New York headquarters. And after going back to Japan, I worked for the startup remotely. Then I chose to start my career in the public sector. I decided to working for Kobe City because I was so much loving with Kobe. And that's all from me. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Okay, next, Aruga-san, please.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Osamu Aruga. I have two hats here. So I'm, director for, innovation at the Cabinet Office, which is responsible for the science and technology and innovation policy. Second hat is it's called Office of Global Startup Campus Initiative, which is at the Cabinet Secretariat. So I was originally educated as an engineer. Then I joined the Japanese government to promote science and technology policy there. Then I had a chance to study abroad. I studied. I studied public policy and economics as well. And so currently I'm working on the issue of the this startup building a startup ecosystem in Japan. So we are having mainly two project. One is, so I will explain later, which is called Startup City Project, and second is Global Startup Campus Project. So I'm looking forward to having very interesting discussion today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next, Shu-san.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Xiaoyan from IWG. Actually, I have been working in medical AI industry since 2017, when medical AI just started to grab everybody's attention. And during these 8 years, we learned a sad truth, that is, only a handful of hospitals actually utilize AI technology. And there are many reasons behind the low acceptance rate. Either the data was not enough, or the IT system inside hospital is too outdated. For example, lots of doctors and hospitals still using CDs and fax in Japan. So people died because of the old IT system. Something needs to be changed and need to be done. And we decided to do it. So we left the previous company and built a new company called IWG. So we provide an all-in-one platform for doctors. It's like streams entire IT workflow inside the hospitals and between hospitals. So with a single login, doctors can access functions like file transfer, test management, secure messaging, and AI models. So that's basically what I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, let me introduce myself. So I'm Hayato Asazawa. I'm CEO of founder of Outroute Inc. And my company is providing AI agent for enterprise sales forecast solution. And before that, I worked in Google Japan, and I have a lot of experience through the enterprise sales. Additionally, I worked in the VMware, known as a virtualization software company, and I have over 20 years enterprise sales experience. So I hope to combine this my career experience and AI to make an AI agent for solve some situation for enterprise sales journey. And today I'm a moderator, but I'm so excited to be here because I'm a moderator today. However, I'm one of the audience. I hope to hear a lot of things because so today these on the stage members are venture capital and the local city from Kobe and Japanese government and startups, a wide variety of talent on the here. So I hope to. I'm so excited to discuss and to talk with you, everyone. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's get started. The first topic. So we hope to discuss in terms of current status and the challenges of the regional startup ecosystem in the global context. The first, I'd like to know the more detail. So what kind of the challenges are here and the global ecosystem challenge from Japanese players. So from VC insight and from local cities perspective, and also Japanese government aspect, of course, from startup perspective. So I hope to hear the first is Lai-san. So, sorry, Aruga-san. Yeah. So in the totally. So what do you see, and what is your opinion in the Japanese startup ecosystem from your perspective?
All right, let me explain what you asked. So Japan is said that we have many good research sheets, good research capacity in Japan, but the issue is that we are lack of the this ability to commercialize or the social implementation of these technologies. So in order to cope with this issue, we started startup city project 5 years ago, which is we designated 8 cities as a city which are constructing or formulating a startup ecosystem in each cities, including this Tokyo as well.
Mm-hmm.
So after 5 years, I think we have a lot of success in this project. We have many number of the we observed the increase in the number of the startups from the universities and also the other research sheets as well. So we can see that we can say that we have more and more startups, and also the many startups has more funding as well. So this is our achievement so far, but there is still issue. So now we are reviewing the result after 5 years. We are still having the issue of the scaling of the startups. So the number of the unicorns are not so many as we planned, and also we are lack of sometimes the connection to global network. So I think our issue is that we have to connect our startup ecosystem to the overseas, like overseas VCs and also the accelerators as well. So by doing that, so we need to make a real startup ecosystem which is connected to the world as well. So this is my current observation. Thanks.
Yeah, great, fantastic. Thank you. So next is Kobe City's perspective. Fukuda-san, so based on this Japanese government direction, how do you think about the startup ecosystem from local city perspective?
Sure. Kobe began building its startup ecosystem in 2016, and launching several initiatives such as some global acceleration program in collaboration with global partners and public-private partnership initiatives, and also support open innovation between startups and local corporates. However, we don't many resources or much budget as much bigger cities such as Tokyo. So when it comes to global engagement, we prioritize direct connection with the overseas cities, overseas startup support organization, rather than compare ourselves to other cities in Japan or compete with other Japanese cities. So, and for example, we regularly welcome the international delegation to Kobe. Next week alone, we will host 5 different delegations in just 5 days, and we will host 5 pitch events in Kobe next week. So, in addition to these kind of events, we regularly do engage in the information exchange with overseas cities and mutual program promotion. Even one Kobe-based startup opened their office in Austria after we shared the information of the program offered by Austrian embassy. So that's what we are doing currently.
Yeah, thank you. A great momentum. Yeah. So next is Shu-san. So from startup perspective, so what is your challenge and from local to global? And I hope to hear your experience and your track records.
Thank you for your question. It's a really good question. Actually, I believe the biggest challenge is the swift in mindset. I have been working in several countries, not many, but I've seen several firsthand how different people in Japan perceive startups compared to the place like United States and China and other places. For example, last year I applied for a startup subsidy here, and there was an interview. And I got the feeling that the interviewers expect us to behave more like traditional big companies. It seems like the concept of more risk, more reward, or break the old to build new make people uncomfortable. And even when people told me that we found ways to using fax machines for over 10 years, why switch to cloud? So this hesitation to the innovation make it harder for Japanese startups to integrate into the fast-moving global ecosystem, because the cross-border cooperation, the fast change is the key to success. But if the gap between Japanese startups and other ecosystems make it more like losing chance for Japanese startups. So if you ask me what is the advice, I would say that for fellow founders, take time to think more deep about what the Japanese client needs, because it's not just about how good is your solution, it's to invite them to join the program that they never experienced. So they need to think what they think. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes. So through the all of the information, and finally, so Light-san. So I'd like to know, I'd like to hear what is your insight and perspective from venture capitalists.
Oh, okay. A little bit kind of background to share. So before I came back as a venture capital, I've been running startup for 7 years outside of Japan. And then before the startup, I was also VC. So I was in the VC ecosystem 10 years ago and left as a founder and then came back. So the first things I noticed the change is all the support coming from the Japanese government, coming from the region, which is really great things. That's great that we create a lot of connection outside of Japan. But if I'm going to give advice to the government or region, is compared to, for example, China or Silicon Valley. If I look at Silicon Valley, originally it was San Francisco, and now it has Texas, it has New York. And if you actually start to kind of look at those kind of a location, each location has their own strengths. They actually choose one or two theses in that region and then put all their resources into that topic. So maybe one thing that Japan can consider is, depending on different kind of region, utilize the resources, utilize the capital that you have and focusing on one or two topics, instead of trying to split all the money and time into kind of various topics. That's one thing that I will actually give the advice to the region or to the government. In terms of a startup, so I think it's getting much, much better in terms of the interaction with overseas investor, with overseas founders. However, as a VC, if I have opportunity to talk to a lot of overseas investors, and the common feedback from them is, if the startup is good, we don't really care if it's a Japanese startup or not. What does that mean? It's a fundamental thesis for VC. It doesn't really matter which company you are. It matters if your company's revenues grows, if your company actually can create a huge scale. So one thing, the advice I would give to the founder is, when you look at your business, are you targeting your business locally, or are you aiming for the global scale? If you want to aim for global scale, can your team toggle to, for example, US or overseas market? If you don't have a talent, then as a founder, try to find your talent. Don't give up just because your English is not native. It doesn't really matter under the AI period. And I see a lot of founders, they talk to me, they want to go global, but when I ask them, do you have people in your team that understand the market? The answer was no. Then my suggestion to you guys is, okay, if you don't have a talent, try to find somebody, make you a network. And if you don't act, there's no way that you can actually tackle into overseas market. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Great insight. Yeah. So before 5 years ago, in Japan, startup ecosystem is still growing. However, currently it is very great status. So like I mentioned earlier, so in China, on the other country, and so 5 years or 10 years ago, and Aruka-san says, and 5 years, the next 5 years, so Japan government, Japanese startup ecosystem would like to expand this market, and of course not only market but also players. This is great momentum. So the next question is, so this is momentum. So what is the current startup ecosystem momentum in each community of local and global? So reason why I ask this question, so so a lot of the supporters in startup ecosystem, from government, from local city, from venture capitalists, but so in each, so how and what is a good or great track records or a lesson learned we'd like to know. So first, じゃあ福田さん、so Kobe City, do you have a lot of the things and a lot of the program to provide for startups? So would you may I ask you a question?
Sure. First of all, I couldn't agree more with her, Rai-san, because when we talk with the overseas startups or overseas global partners, nowadays we are all often asked, currently a lot of Japanese cities and respectively promote their startup ecosystem, and what's the difference? Where to go? So we found we needed to be characteristic. We need to differentiate ourselves to other cities. So we adopt a niche strategy for ourselves, promotion efforts, leveraging Kobe's strengths in area. And one of the strengths for us is food sector. So one example is our program called the Next Kitchen, where we offer the global food tech startups. We welcome the global food tech startups to Kobe and offer the factory tour opportunities and B2B matching with local and national food-related companies located in Kobe, Hyogo area and even Japan. So our area has so many great food related companies, not startup, corporates, and they are really looking for the new innovation seed. So it should be great match. So last year, we selected 10 international food tech startups from Israel, Singapore, US, Europe, and so on, and offered them the business matching and our partnered local corporates, 25 local corporates. And as a smaller city without much budget, we focus on specialization, aiming to be recognized globally in fields such as food. So when we are talking with startups, we want to say, if you are a full tech startup, please come to Kobe. If you are startups who want to collaborate with Kobe companies, please come to Kobe. And then if you are like fintech startups, of course you're welcomed. But if you find better partner or better place to go, we can recommend the place. Sometimes we have a partnership with Shibuya, and if we see some like entertainment startups, sometimes we introduce them to Shibuya World. So, yeah. So this is our momentum.
Yeah, great word. Specialization and strength is very good point to make a differentiation between all of the ecosystem from local and global. So in that point, so Aruga-san, so in Japan, from Japan perspective, so what is the specialization and the strength in Japan market and the startup ecosystem?
Okay, thank you very much for your difficult question. So which is actually I participated in other event yesterday, and I had similar question as well. So this is difficult because so there are many people who are working on their own research, technology, and also startups as well. So I can't say you have to stop it. So I think it's depends on the the technology. So if there's any possibility, then they can pursue for it. And I think specialization is on the other hand very important as well. So I mentioned about our startup city project for the first phase, which started 5 years ago. Now we are now currently considering to select second phase cities as well. So one of the theme is of course it's globalization of the easy ecosystem, but also the scaling as well. The another point is this specialization as well. So as Laisha mentioned, so it's important to find their strengths and how they can make it stronger, even stronger. So now we are under the selection process of the new cities, and so we are asking them to provide their background, what is their strengths, and how they strengthen their strengths. So in order for that, so it's one of the the ways to focusing on some specialization, specialized technology. So I think as Kobe, Fukuda-san mentioned, so Kobe City had some idea about specialization in the food tech. So it's very important, I think. So, but we don't say, as a whole of Japan, we have to focus on this. But it's important to have this the strategy of specialization in each startup ecosystem. So that's what I feel. Next.
Yeah, interesting. Thank you. So next is from the startup perspective. So what is the opportunity to get accelerate your business through these? So in each city's specialized program. So Shu-san, do you have any experience?
Thank you. I have to say that the Japanese startup ecosystem is getting better and better. The government support startups through FACS, joint program, accelerators, and personally, I didn't know any foreign founders set up a company in Korea, in China, but I do know many, including myself, doing so in Tokyo, in Japan. I joined a lot of accelerator last year, actually, to be honest. And we know each other through the accelerator program. And the best thing I have to say is because each accelerator focus on different markets. We joined an accelerator focus on US, another focus on cooperate with Mayo Clinic, which is biggest hospital in the world, and also Southeast Asia and also Europe. the experience make me clear that which market is the right market. It's not because the market is not good. It's not suited for the stage that we are, because early stage startups don't have so much energy. We should focus. So after all these accelerators, we make the decision that we should focus on Southeast Asia and also cooperate with Mayo Clinic. That's the best things I have ever experienced last year.
Yeah, great. So I felt this program was supported to you, accelerate your business in each country or in each ecosystem. Of course, so Shu-san's business is hospital-focused cloud services. That means so it is a very hard regulation in each country and each region. It is a very great support, I think. So, Lai-san, so next is venture capital. So I know the venture capitalist and the venture capital has a lot of the specialization, and of course, and also sometimes they are focusing on to invest some vertical source or anything else. So how do you utilize your city and the government from the venture capitalist perspective and your as a founder and as a capitalist experience?
As an investor, we don't really utilize too much the region. However, I think we do actually gather a lot of information from, for example, accelerator program, and also there's a lot of grant from the government. So we will actually gather all those kind of information and provide to our portfolio company. For example, I do have a portfolio in deep tech. So there's a lot of grant from government, from Tokyo, and so on. So instead of suggesting them to do debt or to raise equity, we might actually ask them to say, hey, why don't you actually apply for the grant? Because it will actually prevent them for the dilution in that case. I don't know if I answer your question.
Yeah. So from a startup perspective, so in these several years, some of the local banks tend to become limited partners. And that means so local banking has a lot of the issue to solve in each region. So, but they don't have any so much resources. So the local bank would like to utilize the startup ecosystem to overcome this situation. So that is, I'm very curious. So do you think, what do you think?
Oh, sure. In that sense, I think in Japan that we all know that a lot of startups actually set up their business in Tokyo. So mainly their customer are like Tokyo-based customer. But if you look at the whole Japan as an economy, I would say probably 70% of the economy actually come outside of Tokyo. And one of the biggest problem or challenging for startup is how can they actually tap into the regional economy. In that case, we all know that in the regional economy, it's all about connection. So as a startup, if you want to go, for example, Shikoku, and to try to find a B2B customer, it will be easier for the startup to get introduced by local bank or the local government, because then they gain the trust. And the reason for that is a lot of those regional companies, they still don't really understand what's a startup. It's kind of scary thing because they are a new company. So by actually working together with a regional bank or regional government, it actually gives them sort of a reputation guarantee to be able to tap into the local economy. And I think that's one of the pretty interesting channel if you are thinking as a B2B startup that you want to actually do business in the regional area.
Yeah, great insight. Thank you. So from startup perspective, so we have to make a product or services as our first stage, and the next stage is GTM, go-to-market strategy is very important. In that case, so like Lai-san mentioned, so some local network is very helpful to accelerate our business from startup perspective, also local business ecosystem perspective. Yeah. So, Shu-san, so you last year, so you attended a lot of the local program, and so you mentioned the Mayo Clinic in the United States, and so how was the other countries' program like Europe area and East Asia area. So do you have any experience? So would you share your experience?
Because we focus on hospitals and healthcare, so for startups, it's really difficult areas. So we need to know the regulations, the market fit, a lot of things we need to think about. So that's why we join a lot of accelerators, because each accelerators can let you know what kind of situation in local market. For example, I went to Europe to stay for almost 1 month, and I noticed that there are the same problems Europe and Japan, but the difficult thing is building trust in Europe is more difficult than in Japan. So that's why we choose to put EU market into our second phase, not the first phase. So that's the best point of accelerators, because you can use the power of government or big companies' power to know situation in market. But if you do it by yourself, you don't know how to do it. The first thing, you cannot connect with the local people. Is the second thing. They give you a channel, give you a chance to communicate with them. So you will know what is the most important market to you. So as a startup, I encourage the founders to join more accelerators or join programs to work more with government, work more with big corporations, because using their power, you can build more trust from your customers and your local market people.
Yeah, thank you. So one of the biggest issue from a startup is how do we make a network in each local community. So if some local community make a good support system like acceleration program or anything else, that is very helpful to expand and grow startup ecosystem in each country and city. So Aruga-san, so Shu-san and some Rei-san mentioned, so some program can provide any good momentum in each area. And so my question is, what is the important point to gather and to collect the startups or ecosystem players in Japan market? So from government perspective. So I hope to hear your opinion.
All right, thank you. So I think that, so each city has a very good intention to gather the international players, not only startups but also VCs as well. But the issue is that they are not sometimes struggling how they can do that. They don't know. So one of the the initiative we are now trying to do is called Startup City Network. Startup City Project Network (SCPN), which is having the workshops by having the attendance from the startup cities. So then we have a workshop. We have some special topic like for globalization of the startup ecosystem in your city. Then so they can discuss what will be the issue in this globalization of the network, the ecosystem. And then, so they will try to find a solution for that. So many times, one city has some issue, then other city had that issue as well. So then they have solved this issue already. So then they can run each other, how they can make it better. So by this way, I think it's important to have this kind of the learning environment, having this network of the cities. And also by having this discussion in the city, so they started thinking about, so why don't we collaborate when we are going abroad? For example, so this kind of SysTech or the Vivatech event will be held next month. Then, so then the city started thinking, we have to jointly make a pavilion or the place for Japan as a whole Japanese ecosystem. So this kind of collaboration will be helpful for globalization of each cities as well. So this is what we are doing. So this is one thing. Can I add another thing?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I mentioned about my another hat, which is the Office of the Global Startup Campus Initiative. So now we are considering to make a physical campus in Shibuya, in Tokyo, which is hosting the the startups and also the research capability as well. So the purpose is to make a global hub of the startup ecosystem among Japan, within Japan, and also across the world as well. So we are thinking about having 4 functions in this campus. So one is the deep tech research. So we like to attract many talented researchers from abroad who are willing to make a new startup social implementation. So this is one function. The second function is to provide incubation and acceleration programs, which is inviting the accelerators from overseas or the VCs overseas. So in this way, we can provide good services with a global context to the startups and also the possible startup founders as well. So this is the second function. The third function is to nurture the people, the human resources. So Japan said that we are well educated, but we are not trying to take risks. So in order to cope with this situation, and also we don't have much experience in the startups and also venture capital as well. So we are planning to provide the fellowship programs to nurture those human resources. So this is third function, and also the last function is to make a network of the people by having this campus. We gather many players like the researchers and the startups and the VCs and the financial institutions and so local government and the universities. So by having this campus, we are trying to make a good hub and community for that purpose. So now we are still planning phase, and our campus will be built in probably several years. But we already started thinking about start a pilot program for this campus. So we are planning to start new international research funding project soon, hopefully. And so we already started the fellowship program as well. So we are exchanging the PhD students or the postdocs to abroad and also inviting from abroad to Japan as well. So who are willing to make a new startup or to conduct some some entrepreneurial challenges. So by doing that, we are trying to globalize our ecosystem.
Fascinating. So I heard your plan, and I imagine Silicon Valley, like Stanford University, and there. So do you have any benchmark or case study city or country like that?
Okay, so we have observed many cities, of course the Silicon Valley area and also Boston area, but I think we could learn from many things from them. So how they build their ecosystem in each city, but I think we have to translate their idea to Japanese style. So we have our own regulation, our own culture, so own industry as well. So, but I think one of the, I forgot to mention, but one of the most important things is to make a global environment in this campus.
I see.
So we are planning to build a campus which only use English. Official language is English. So everything should be in English. Of course, we can privately, speaking our own language as well. So coming back to your original question, the benchmark. So we are benchmarking many cities, but I don't think we have just one city we can mimic. So we have to make our own campus by our own.
Wow, great, thank you. So from some benchmark or the case study perspective, so Fukuda-san, so do you have any benchmark city to accelerate your startup program? So from the local city?
We don't model ourselves after just one city, but personally, I find the Malmö city in Sweden quite looks inspiring case.
Malmö is the third largest
city in Sweden. I saw some people from Malmö there over there, but yes. And Malmö, so 30 years ago, they lost their main industries, the shipping manufacturer.
Shipping the heavy industry.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
okay.
bankrupt. So they, after losing its major industries about 30 years ago, which is the same timing as we experienced a big earthquake actually, and Malmo successfully developed their new creating a new sector such as gaming, and succeeded in attracting so many young talent from abroad. And although Malmo is the third largest city, they don't really compete with Stockholm. They don't really see Stockholm, and rather instead they're trying to connect other cities directly. And Kobe is a good friend with them, and so we talk so often, and we will welcome them next week as well. So it's a good way as a not that big city.
Yeah. So in my memory, is it correct? So, Minecraft was born in Malmo, right?
Yes, and there are Sony Ericsson and sophisticated.
Right. Yeah, very so interesting. Yeah. Okay. So next, so let's move to the final discussion point. So exception of future startup ecosystem from local to global. So we had a very great discussion today, and but in each we have a good exception and our ambition in each, like local government, Japanese government, venture capitals, and startups. So I'd like to hear in each comment. So Lai-san, so would you share your exception to
Expectation?
sorry, expectation of future startup ecosystem from local to global?
I actually don't think this is so-called local to global under the AI period. I think one of the biggest challenges for the founder in the next 5 to 10 years, every day you're going to have your competitor born in each country. Because AI will actually lower the barrier of the communication. I think today, if you don't understand English, it doesn't matter because you're going to have a real-time translation. Just have your earphone here. So what does that mean? It means that as a startup, when you actually set up your company, you have to think where you're going to base your business model. And I also feel that, sorry to say that, I know our topic is local to global.
Okay.
But I think there will be a judgment of the founder. Do you really want to go global? Because I think today the government is saying, hey, go global. The VC is saying, hey, go global. But if you actually look at your business model, can your business model go global? If you are solving the issue that is only in Japan, then don't push yourself to say, hey, we need to go global. Because as an investor, we will know this is business model. Can this business model go global or not? So actually, my recommendation is, if you really want to go for global, then day one, think about the business idea that is fit for global. Have a team that can actually help you go global. And if not, don't push yourself to say, I need to go global, because you're going to kill yourself in the long term.
Yeah, strong
Thank you.
agree. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay, next, Kuda-san.
Okay, so future plan. Yeah.
Future plan, yeah.
We will continue to strengthen our relationship, international relationship. However, at the same time, as a local government, we need to ensure the fairness. So, which sometimes makes us a bit difficult for like signing MOU or get into the exclusive collaboration with exclusive relationship with the overseas private organization, which is a bit difficult for us. So to address this, from this April, we begin, introducing our contacts to our local incubators. So we encourage them to connect with global on behalf of local government. So we hope it. So they building their own network ongoing. And another ongoing challenge is attracting investment from international VCs. So far, we don't really see the significant investors in Kansai region, I mean the global investors. So to change that, with the Osaka and Kyoto, we are planning to join the joint tour, for VCs with Osaka and Kyoto, and inviting global VCs and take them to meet and have them to meet the local startups on potential LPs in Kansai region. So this initiative will be supported by Cabinet Office because we are selected Global Startup City by Cabinet Office, and we hope to be selected to the next term, finger crossing. And yeah, so I hope this is our plan.
Yeah, thank you. Aruga-san, do you have any
Okay, I don't have the answer for Fukuda-san, but so as I mentioned, so one of our target is to make a Japanese startup ecosystem, but it's open to the world. I think that's the important thing. So in order to be ecosystem, it has to be self-sustaining. I think so. In order for that, so we cannot close our ecosystem inside of Japan. So we have to be connected to the world. So I think what we have to do is to promote this movement. So this SysTech event is very good chance, and also the startup cities are very having very challenging plan for the future as well. So we'd like to promote and also support them to make the Japanese globally opened startup ecosystem. So that's my hope. So I think that Global Startup Campus will be one of the key for that as well.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. Shu-san.
I hope to see more support for the early stage startups. I have saw many great people, great founders with great ideas and good solutions, but it's difficult for them to persuade VCs to show their long-term promising things. So no funds, no customers, no sales team. No sales team, no more funds. So it's like a bad circle. So I hope to see more grants from the government or more funds from VCs to give more opportunities to early stage startups. And also for the application for the grants, I applied a lot of grants but failed. I hope to see more startup friendly grants came out. Yeah, thank you. That's a basic hope.
All right, thank you. So time is up. Okay, so everyone, thank you for sharing your insight. It is very helpful to understand the Japanese ecosystem and from local to global. And thank you for coming, everyone, today. So that is a wrap. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
ありがとうございました。内閣府によるプレゼンテーションでした。皆様ありがとうございました。